What's up, Peace Giant fans? I'm gonna give a little post game commentary on the Chiefs game. Honestly, as bad as we played, as bad as Kansas City played, we had opportunities to win this game. Um uh okay, first I'm gonna go to Paulson and Debo. Um they brought you in to be the number one corner. Bro, you gotta catch the ball. Yo, that's fucking disgusting. Two turnovers he dropped. Okay? Two interceptions dropped. That's not good. Get on the jugs machine and start catching passes, bro. Like that's really not good. Brian Burns, he played his ass off. Abdul Carter looks like he's going to be a real player. Kayvon Thibodeau, bruh, he showed his ass. He really showed his ass. I think a lot of that Abdul Carter talk, Kayvon's like, look, man, I've been here. I could play the game, and he's looking good. Dex didn't look, he wasn't explosive. Then he went out again with the elbow. I said it before. Dislocated elbows, they never really heal, bro. Dislocated bones never really heal. So that's going to be something they got to watch during the season, because if Dex goes down and then we don't have Micah McFadden, it's a wrap. Corner. Cordell Flott, Deontay Banks, they got ate up by Tyquan Thornton. Seriously. Then they tried to put Drew Phillips on him because Drew Phillips was getting pass interference calls, playing the big tight ends. Then Tyquan Thornton was eating him up. I don't know. The Giants got to make some moves. They got to make some moves before the trade deadline. They got cap space. Go get Reek Woolen, bro. They should have drafted Reek Woolen 5-6 years ago. I was big on Reek Woolen. You could look at all my mocks at that time. I was big on Reek Woolen. Go get Reek Woolen from Seattle. Seattle doesn't want to pay him. He had a decent year, but not a Reek Woolen year last season. So they might be able to get him cheap, bro. And what was our plan on offense? Like what were we doing? It's like we didn't know what we was doing. Russ seems to only want to throw the deep ball. He doesn't like check downs. Check downs were open all day with Cam Scatterbo, Wandell Robinson. Russ wasn't looking that way. He was looking at Malik. Malik is in bracket coverage. He's getting high load. They're rolling safety coverage over the way he's at, and the Kansas City Chiefs got good corners on top of it. The Giants need another wide receiver. Personally, the Giants need two wide receivers because honestly, I think Malik Neighbors would be dynamic in the slot. That's my personal opinion. But can the Giants get two good outside wide receivers to transition Malik into the slot? That remains to be seen. Jalen Hyatt. Why was Darius Slayton benched with a minute 42 left and then Jalen Hyatt comes in the game? Seriously? And, and then he breaks. They were running press coverage. So he saw the soft zone, broke it inside. Russell threw the ball outside. That was almost Russell's third interception. For everybody that's sitting there talking about Jackson Dart, no. I know people are like, yo, you got to play Jackson Dart. No, they don't. Russell Wilson almost threw for 500 yards last week. Yeah, he had a down game this week. It looks like it's gonna be one game good, one game bad, one game good, one game bad. But the Giants were competitive. As bad as they looked, they were competitive. And you also got to recognize the fact that there was no Micah McFadden. There was no Dexter Lawrence. Now, I mean, no Dexter Lawrence as far as he really wasn't getting that push. But Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith, they're dynamic on the inside. So they was able to neutralize them. And the Chiefs had players out too. They had Xavier Worthy out. Rashee Rice was out. You know, they probably would have put a 40 burger up on the Giants, really. But you know, we got the Chargers next week. That's a winnable game. I'm not saying they're going to win, but it is winnable. The Chargers aren't a juggernaut, you know. But you know, they are 3-0, so you still got to respect them. But the Giants got a lot of they got a lot of questions, bro. And like I said before, in my first podcast for the season, which was about an hour, 2 hours ago, they need to decide right now, before the trading deadline comes, what they're going to do with Jalen Hyatt. If you're going to trade him, try to get something for him. My opinion, they need to trade Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton is getting what, $13 million a season, and he's not giving you anything, bro. Now, I understand he's a team captain. I understand he's probably the longest tenured Giant now that Daniel Jones is gone. But he's not giving you anything, dude. Anything. You know what I'm saying? So I felt they should have traded Slayton last season, but they decided to re-up him. I mean, if you're gonna lose with the young guys, bro. For real, lose with the young guys. I'm a big Jalen Hyatt fan. Jalen Hyatt gives you everything he's got. He dives for balls. He catches balls. You know, Slayton, he short arms them, alligator arms, and I'm really not a big Darius Slayton fan. Ideally, I would like to see the Giants get 2 bona fide receivers and try to make a trade. Like, trade. If you're going to play Jackson Dart and Jackson Dart is your future, trade Darius Slayton and see if you could get Trey Harris. Trey Harris on the outside would make Jackson Dart feel comfortable. He also knows Malik Neighbors. He was Malik Neighbors' high school quarterback. So there's a relationship there. Trey Harris is a big receiver. He's 6'2", 205, 210 pounds. He's a possession dude. He can go deep. And Trey Harris would solve a lot of your problems as far as a X or a Y goes. And then you can work on, you know, transitioning Malik to the slot. There's also a wide receiver. I think he's at the University of Washington. 6'3", 210. That's great. I mean, I know the kid from Florida State is a baller. I forgot his name. But I'm already looking at mock drafts. But I think the kid from Washington will be good because he's 6'3", and then you can put Malik at slot. So if you run that kid from Washington, a Trey Harris, and then Malik at slot, that's money. That's money, bro. And then if you trade back and you still get the wide receiver, you get a second round pick or a third round pick as extra because it's a quarterback heavy draft and the Giants don't need a quarterback because they drafted Jackson Dart. Then you double down, my opinion. You go, you try to see if the linebacker from Texas is available. If he is, you gotta take him. You gotta take him because the Giants' backup linebackers are horrible. Bobby Okereke is about 29. He's going to be 29 next season. I don't know if the Giants are going to want to pay him a lot of money. So if that guy is there, I forgot his name. I just been looking at mock drafts. But if he's there, you take him. If not, double down on guards, bro, and work on that interior line because I think you got a good one in Marcus Bowe, playing right tackle for the future. Andrew Thomas came out and he looked good. He looked good. He stayed healthy. He looked good. I mean, he was on a snap count. He played limited reps, but he looked good. He went up against Chris Jones and held his own. So, that's a bright spot. That's a bright spot. But what we need to do, we need to have a firm game plan. Tyrone Tracy went down, and that kind of like put us in a weird zone. But Scatterbo is more than serviceable, dude. I mean, that dude plays hard, B. He plays hard. That little white dude plays hard. You hear me? So I'm not glass half empty. I'm glass half full with the Giants. Even though they're 0-3, I think they could beat the Chargers. Will they? I don't know. But I think they could beat the Chargers. Then I don't know exactly how the schedule goes, but I think they got the Eagles and then the Broncos and then the Eagles again and then the Saints. So, the Saints are winnable. They're 0-3. Their offense is good, but they're all 0-3. The Chargers are beatable. Philly, I don't know. It's going to be a division game, so it's going to be tough. Both teams know each other. But playing Philly twice in 6 weeks is going to be, or 7 weeks is going to be rough. But I'm glad they're getting that out of the way because I don't want to play Philly at the end of the season like we normally do. But we're in an 0-3 hole. We got to figure some things out, and we got to get some confidence. We don't have no confidence, bro, and we're not deliberate in what we're doing offensively. The defense is going to hold us in games, which I felt it would, which it did today. But the offense has got to make plays, man. And like I said, I don't know what the problem is with Jalen Hyatt. But, bro, I mean, if you're not going to play him, get rid of him. Get rid of him. If you're that high on Darius Slayton, so be it. I'm not. I think you could play a young guy that can drop passes. That's just the way I look at it. I think you could play a young guy and save money that can run around and not make catches. That's just me. You know what I mean? That's the way I look at it. A lot of people don't agree with me, but that's what I see. I don't know. This one was rough because this game was winnable, and the Graham Gano situation. I mean, this is the second season in a row that this is happening. He was barely able to kick that field goal that gave us 9 points. He was barely able to make it. As far as like wincing and being in pain. So, I don't know, man. They need to figure that out. They need to figure out what they're going to do with Jalen Hyatt. They need to figure out what they're going to do with Darius Slayton. They need to figure out what they're going to do as far as the guard position. They need to figure out what they're going to do at linebacker because Michael McFadden, from what I heard, he's going to miss like 7-8 weeks. He's going to come back, but he's going to miss like 8 weeks, bro, which is like 2 months. So they got to figure things out. And most importantly, stop with the shuttling shit. Playing Russ and then putting Jackson Dart in and then taking him out. Stop that shit, bro. Because you get momentum and then you switch up. You get momentum and then you switch up. If Russ is your starter, start Russ. Period. And live with it. If you're going to play Jackson Dart, fucking play him. But don't do that flimmy flam shit back and forth, Oh, we're going to put him in for a couple of plays to hear the crowd cheer and then we're going to take him out. Like, no, that's not fair to nobody, dude. That's not fair to nobody. And that's not building continuity. So, I don't know. That's just me and my rant. We're 0-3 again. Daniel Jones is fucking 3-0. So, I mean, look, I'm not saying Tyrone Tracy is on Jonathan Taylor's level, but Jonathan Taylor is a bad back. He is bad. But Shane Steichen is obviously doing something right with Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is in the history books right now. Okay? He's passed for 3+ touchdowns. He's run for 3+ touchdowns. His team is 3-0, and he has no turnovers. So I'm not saying I want Daniel Jones back, and I'm not saying I regret Daniel Jones not being a Giant. I think we needed to move on. But that leaves a little bit desired to be saying he's 3-0 and we're 0-3. So what's really wrong? Is it the scheme? Is it the coaching? Are we not coaching up guys? And that's one of my biggest things too. I don't think we're coaching up the young talent that we have, and I think the Giants need to do a better job collectively of doing that because they got some young talent. They just got to coach them up, bro. Drew Phillips had a rough game, but I think he'll bounce back. He's a good player. I just don't like what they're doing. And I don't like what they're doing with the Cordell Flott, Deonte Banks, switching them in, switching them out, starting Cordell Flott. Then they got Deonte Banks coming in dime situations. I don't agree with that. Deonte Banks was your number one pick. Okay? Let him play. And if he's not going to perform, trade him. What are we doing? Trade him. Tariq Woolen wants out of Seattle. Give him Deonte Banks and a 4th or 5th round pick and bring in Tariq Woolen and pair him with Poston and Debo. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, if you're not going to play the young talent because they're not performing or they don't fit your scheme, get rid of them. What are we holding on to them for? They need to make a decision on Jalen Hyatt. They need to make a decision on Deonte Banks or Cordell Flott. They need to make a decision on the offensive line. They need to make a decision on linebacker. And they need to make a decision on Russ or Jackson Dart. That's all I got to say. I'm getting ready to go and drink some water and play some Madden. Madden is the only thing I could play where the Giants are 17-0. Yeah, it's bad, bro. At least I'm on Madden and I'm getting my work in, and the Giants are 17-0 going to back-to-back Super Bowls, you know what I mean? But we'll be back next week. And we'll do it again next week, and hopefully the outcome will be different. And we'll see what goes on. All right. Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh. Have a good night. Peace. I'm out.